Good morning. Thank you all for coming here this morning to the Clarkstown Police Department. My name's Detective Pete Walker. I am the Public Information Officer for the town of Clarkstown. And this morning we're going to discuss the tragic homicide that occurred on Saturday in West Nyack. On Saturday, November 24th, 2018 at approximately 3:15 p.m., the Clarkstown Police Department responded to Yube's Auto Sales at 357 Route 59 in West Nyack for a report of a shooting. The initial investigation revealed that a possible dispute had occurred over a business transaction. The victim, Eubens Joseph, 37, of Middletown, New York, was shot 3 times and succumbed to his injuries on Sunday morning, November 25th, at Westchester Medical Center. The Clarkstown Detective Bureau initiated an extensive investigation into the homicide with the assistance of the Clarkstown Police Street Crimes Unit, United States Marshal Service, Orangetown Police Department, Pennsylvania State Police, New York City Police Department Intelligence Bureau, the Richland Township Police Department in Pennsylvania, as well as the Quakertown Police Department in Pennsylvania. Yesterday, the suspect, Eric Hugh Ross Jr., 24, of Wilmington, Delaware, was arrested at a residence in Quakertown, Pennsylvania, without incident. Without many pieces of evidence, investigators were able to gather information and follow up on tips that led to the arrest of Ross. Ross is currently being housed at a detention facility in Pennsylvania awaiting extradition. He is being charged with murder second degree, which is a felony, and criminal use of a firearm first degree, which is also a felony. This investigation is ongoing, so please respect the fact that not all questions can be answered at this time. Right now, I invite Chief of Police of the Clarkstown Police Department, Raymond McCullough, to please speak.
Good morning. Ever since this senseless shooting occurred on Saturday, the Clarkstown Police Department's job was to ensure the safety of our community was preserved. I was confident in the professionalism of our department, particularly the Detective Bureau and the Street Crime Unit, and their ability to solve this horrific crime. We hope that this arrest brings some measure of comfort to the Joseph family. I want the Joseph family to know that the department will continue to make every effort to assist the Rockland County District Attorney's Office in the prosecution of this case. As with many investigations, it's rarely a one-man show. I would like to recognize the NYPD Intelligence Bureau, represented today by Lieutenant Gary Gagliardi, the United States Marshal Service, the Orangetown Police Department, Pennsylvania State Police, the Quakertown, Pennsylvania Police Department, and the Richland Township, Pennsylvania Police for all of their service and assistance in bringing the suspect to justice and for bringing some closure to the Joseph family. On behalf of the Clarkstown Police Department and the residents of the town of Clarkstown, I thank you.
Thank you, Chief. You'll now be hearing from the town supervisor of the town of Clarkstown, Mr. George Holman.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I want to just recognize my colleagues from the town council, Councilman Frank Borelli, Councilman Pete Bradley, Councilman Franchino, and Councilman Carroll were unable to join us this morning. This Saturday, our community witnessed a real tragedy. The shooting brought immediate concern amongst our residents. However, we had deep and real confidence knowing that the Clarkstown Police Department and law enforcement was up to the task of solving this crime. It's nothing short of extraordinary that just 5 short days later, over several states, 3 states, and utilizing the cooperation of many, many law enforcement agencies, the perpetrator of this horrible crime is now in custody and awaiting extradition back here to New York. It's often been said that justice delayed is justice denied. And thankfully today, because of the exceptional police work of the Clarkstown Police Department and a myriad of law enforcement agencies, we have the assurance that justice will neither be delayed nor denied. Before coming into the room, we had an opportunity to speak briefly with the Joseph family. And we want to assure you of our thoughts and our prayers. We're very sorry for your deep loss at this time. I hope that you can take some consolation and comfort from the fact that justice will be served and that this individual who's alleged to have done this horrible crime will be brought to justice. I want to thank Chief Ray McCullough and all the men of the Clarkstown Police Department, men and women of the Clarkstown Police Department, for such an exceptional job and for all the supporting law enforcement agencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. We're now going to open up the floor for questions. Most of your questions are probably going to be referred to Detective Lieutenant Glenn Dietrich of the Clarkstown Detective Bureau.
I'll take any questions you may have right now.
Could you expand a little bit on the nature of the dispute?
Yeah, from what we can determine right now, the suspect went in and purchased a car from Mr. Joseph's back in July, and there seems to have been an ongoing dispute over the amount of money that the suspect owed Mr. Joseph. So it looks like it was all over a car that was purchased back in July.
Has the car been repossessed?
That I can't really get into yet. Again, like the chief mentioned, there's still a lot of investigation left to be done. We have a lot more people to speak to, so I really can't speak on that at this time.
What kind of car was it?
It was a Sonata, white Sonata that we actually got on video at the crime scene, leaving the crime scene.
Any word how much was paid for that car?
We don't know the amount, what the dispute was, the amount of money at this point. Again, we have to do a lot more investigating on that, some more interviews as well.
Can you help us understand why a man from Delaware would be buying a car in Rockland County?
The individual had ties to Rockland County. He attended a local college here a number of years ago. He had left that college about a year ago, so he had ties here. He'd been in the area probably for about 2 or 3 years from what we can determine right now.
And we were told the other day, I mean, everyone who knew Mr. Joseph seems to say he was just a nice, mild-mannered almost kind of guy. Just wanted to confirm that you didn't have any record of complaints against him or his business that had bubbled up through the department.
Not at all. In fact, everything we heard about Mr. Joseph and his family and his business has been nothing but positive. We have no negative reports at all on the victim.
And can you tell us if Mr. Ross had any kind of criminal background, or do you have any idea yet, sir, where he got the weapon?
No, we're still looking into that. As far as his criminal background, in Rockland County, there was a few minor incidents in the town of Orangetown. Nothing to really speak of, traffic violations, sort of like of that, but nothing major in his background that we can find right now.
You said Ross was leaving the scene in the white Hyundai Sonata that was bought in July?
That is correct.
So that means that was his car that he drove back to the dealership. The one that he originally bought was the one that he drove there and then left in?
Yes, that's confirmed.
And what was the piece that tied it all together and led you to Pennsylvania?
You know, we put out a lot of information, obviously, to law enforcement agencies, actually throughout, well, first on the East Coast and then really nationwide. And it was a heads-up police officer out in Pennsylvania that spotted that car and found that car parked in one of the local shopping centers. So thanks to him, he probably broke this case for us.
And then did they put a watch on the car?
Yes, yeah. So we were immediately notified, and obviously that's how we ended up out in Pennsylvania.
And did he have ties to that area as well?
Yes, he did.
Where he just-
Yeah. He had ties to the area, Delaware and in Quakertown.
And your business owner has said that children were present at the time of the shooting, possibly Joseph's children. Can you confirm that or comment on that?
We're not going to talk about that at this time, all right? As far as witnesses go, I think we're going to have to hold off on that with the prosecution, so we won't comment on that at this time.
Have you recovered a firearm?
Not yet.
Where had Ross been living while in Rockland County the last couple of years?
Well, he was at one of the local colleges. He left that college, and that's what we're really looking into right now. We believe that he might have even been living out of the car, finding a place, some other place to live night by night. But he did have ties, like I said before, to one of the local colleges where he was in a dorm.
Can you identify what college that is?
Not at this time.
Is there anything else helpful caught on video besides the truck, the car leaving the scene?
You know, we have so much video to go through right now. It's hours and hours of video. As you know, in any investigation like this, we're looking for any video camera we can find. Route 59 is a very busy area, so there's a lot of cameras there, and it's going to take us a lot of time to get through all that video.
I just want to try to better understand. People lend their cars to other people. Is there evidence beyond the car that ties Ross to being at that place at that time on Saturday?
Yeah, we can't comment on that, though, at this time.
Does he match, has he been positively identified by any of your witnesses?
That'll come out later. Right now, again, you know, we still have a lot of work to do on this, so I appreciate your question, but we're not going to answer that right now.
As for the dispute, did it take place over a long period of time over the phone?
You know, that's another thing we're doing. Just like video, there's a lot of phone records that we have to go through. So I really can't give you a definitive answer on that at this time. But we know that they had met more than just on Saturday.
The phone records between the victim and the suspect?
Yeah, this, you know, again, it's going to take some time to get that stuff back and to go through all of that.
Had he made threats in the past when there was disputes?
That I don't know at this time.
Could we hear from one of your colleagues in Pennsylvania who can talk about their officer who spotted the car?
There is nobody here representing that department. You know, I sent 4 detectives and a detective sergeant out there yesterday. In fact, Detective Sergeant Joe Donnery is the one that led the team out there, and you know, he couldn't have enough good things to say about the police departments out there, how professional they were, and the job that they did. Joe, right there, were
yeah, tremendous
excellent.
job.
Sir, at the microphone, please.
Sorry. Yeah, out in Pennsylvania, again, the U.S. Marshals, Richland PD, Pennsylvania State Police, and the Quakertown Police Department. Tremendous job in helping us execute the arrest of the subject, and again, just can't thank them enough.
So was it a cop from Quakertown who spotted the car?
That was
Richland Township, which is right the next town over.
Richland Township.
Yep.
And is it your understanding that at roll call in the morning, they said, by the way, we have this ATV, or how did that, can you walk us through that?
I can speak on that. Yeah, look, the flyers were sent out immediately. Richland is, again, it borders Quakerstown. The car was parked in Richland's area. So the officer out there was familiar, obviously, seeing the stuff that we had sent out there. And again, they made a real effort to go out and look for the car. So again, kudos to them. They're the guys that broke this.
So this man was just out shopping as a nonchalant?
The car was parked unoccupied.
Was it ditched?
No, it was parked.
Okay, so there's no sign that, like, that's where he left it and it's about.
He was parked at a Kohl's store, a regular, like an outdoor mall.
And
Was
had
he
you,
arrested when he came out?
I'm sorry?
Was he arrested when he came out of the store?
No,
Okay.
no.
had you told those particular departments in Pennsylvania, we think this guy has ties to your area?
Yes.
Was the car registered in Pennsylvania or here?
The car was registered in Delaware.
Any other questions?
How soon after spotting his car was he arrested?
Joe, probably about 12 hours later, after spotting the car?
After the car?
Yeah,
It
after we
was
found the car, it's about 12 hours, I believe.
About that, roughly.
Was he arrested during the traffic stop of that car?
No, no. He was arrested in a residence.
Detective Walker, is anyone from the family willing to say a word?
After the press conference.
Any other questions?
At this point, any other questions?
The home at which he was arrested, was it a friend, a relative?
It was a relative's home.
And can you give us your title, spell your first and last name?
Yes, I'm the detective lieutenant. It's Glenn, Glenn, Dietrich, Dietrich.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for coming. That concludes the press conference, and if you just give me a minute, I have to confer with the family in regards to if anyone's going to speak. If they do speak, I'm not going to put them up here at the podium, so if you want to break down your microphones, okay?